अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरि ओम्। तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री रामकृष्णाय। Readings from and reflections on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are in the chapter 6, beginning. The Master with the Brahma devotees, part 1. October 28, 1882. It was Saturday. The semi-annual Brahma festival, celebrated each autumn and spring, was being held in Beni Madhav Paul's beautiful garden house at Sindhi, about 3 miles north of Calcutta. The house stood in a secluded place suited for contemplation. Trees laden with flowers, artificial lakes with grassy banks, and green arbors enhanced the beauty of the grounds. Just as the fleecy clouds were turning gold in the light of the setting sun, the Master arrived. Many devotees had attended the morning devotions, and in the afternoon, people from Calcutta and the neighboring villages joined them. Shivanath, the great Brahma devotee, whom the Master loved dearly, was one of the large gathering of members of the Brahma Samaj, who had been eagerly awaiting Sri Ramakrishna's arrival. When the carriage bringing the Master and a few devotees reached the garden house, the assembly stood up respectfully to receive him. There was a sudden silence, like that which comes when the curtain in a theatre is about to be rung up. People who had been conversing with one another now fixed their attention on the Master's serene face, eager not to lose one word that might fall from his lips. At the sight of Shivanath, the Master cried out joyously, "Ah, here is Shivanath. You see, you are a devotee of God. The very sight of you gladdens my heart. One hemp smoker feels very happy to meet another. Very often they embrace each other in an exuberance of joy." The devotees burst out laughing. Master, many people visit the temple garden at the Kshineswar. If I see some among the visitors indifferent to God, I say to them, "You had better sit over there." Or sometimes I say, "Go and see the beautiful buildings." Laughter. Sometimes I find that the devotees of God are accompanied by worthless people. Their companions are immersed in gross worldliness and don't enjoy spiritual talk at all. Since the devotees keep on for a long time talking with me about God, the others become restless. Finding it impossible to sit there any longer, they whisper to their devotee friends, "When shall we be going? How long will you stay here?" The devotees say, "Wait a bit, we shall go after a little while." Then the worldly people say in a disgusted tone, "Well then, you can talk. We shall wait for you in the boat." All laugh. Worldly people will never listen to you if you ask them to renounce everything and devote themselves wholeheartedly to God. Therefore, Chaitanya and Nitai, after some deliberation, made an arrangement to attract the worldly. They would say to such persons, "Come, repeat the name of Hari, and you shall have a delicious soup of magur fish and the embrace of a young woman." Many people, attracted by the fish and the woman, would chant the name of God. After tasting a little of the nectar of God's hallowed name, they would soon realize that the fish soup really meant the tears they shed for love of God, while the young woman signified the earth. The embrace of the woman meant rolling on the ground in the rapture of divine love. Nitai would employ any means to make people repeat Hari's name. Chaitanya said, the name of God has very great sanctity. It may not produce an immediate result, but one day it must bear fruit. It is like a seed that has been left on the cornice of a building. After many days, the house crumbles and the seed falls on the earth, germinates, and at last bears fruit. As worldly people are endowed with sattva, rajas and tamas, so also is bhakti characterized by the three gunas. Do you know what a worldly person endowed with sattva is like? Perhaps his house is in a dilapidated condition, here and there. He doesn't care to repair it. The worship hall may be strewn with pigeon droppings and the courtyard covered with moss. But he pays no attention to these things. The furniture of the house may be old. He doesn't think of polishing it and making it look neat. He doesn't care for dress at all. Anything is good enough for him. But the man himself is very gentle, quiet, kind and humble. He doesn't injure anyone. Again, among the worldly people, there are people with the traits of rajas. Such a man has a watch and chain and 2 or 3 rings on his fingers. The furniture of his house is all spick and span. On the walls hang portraits of the Queen, the Prince of Wales and other prominent people. The building is whitewashed and spotlessly clean. His wardrobe is filled with a large assortment of clothes. Even the servants have their livery and all that. The traits of a worldly man endowed with tamas are sleep, lust, anger, egotism and the like. Similarly, bhakti, devotion, has its sattva. A devotee who possesses it meditates on God in absolute secret. Perhaps inside his mosquito net. Others think he is asleep. Since he is late in getting up, they think perhaps he has not slept well during the night. His love for the body goes only as far as appeasing his hunger, and that only by means of rice and simple grains. There is no elaborate arrangement about his meals, no luxury in clothes, and no display of furniture. Besides, such a devotee never flatters anybody for money. An aspirant possessed of Rajasic bhakti puts a tilak on his forehead and a necklace of holy Rudraksha beads, interspersed with gold ones, around his neck, all love. At worship, he wears a silk cloth. A man endowed with tamasic bhakti has burning faith. Such a devotee literally extorts boon from God, even as a robber falls upon a man and plunders his money. Bind, beat, kill, that is his way, the way of the dacoits. Saying this, the master began to sing in a voice sweet with a rapturous love, his eyes turned upward. Why should I go to Ganga or Gaya, to Kashi, Kanchi or Prabhash? 5 places of pilgrimage: Ganga, Gaya, Kashi, Kanchi, Prabhash. So long as I can breathe my last with Kali's name upon my lips, what need of rituals has a man? What need of devotion anymore if he repeats the mother's name at the 3 holy hours? The holy hours are dawn, noon and dusk. Rituals may pursue him close, but never can they overtake him. Charity, vows and giving of gifts do not appeal to Madan's mind. Madan is the author of the song. The blissful mother's lotus feet are his whole prayer and sacrifice. Who could ever have conceived the power her name possesses? Shiva himself, the God of gods, sings her praise with his 5 mouths. The master was beside himself with love for the Divine Mother. He sang with fiery enthusiasm. If only I can pass away repeating Durga's name, how canst thou then, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance, wretched though I may be? Then he said, one must take the firm attitude. What? I have chanted the Mother's name. How can I be a sinner anymore? I am her child, heir to her powers and glories. If you can give a spiritual turn to your tamas, you can realize God with its help. Force your demands on God. He is by no means a stranger to you. He is indeed your very own. Again you see, the quality of tamas can be used for the welfare of others. There are three classes of physicians: superior, mediocre, and inferior. The physician who feels the patient's pulse and just says to him, take the medicine regularly, belongs to the inferior class. He doesn't care to inquire whether or not the patient has actually taken the medicine. The mediocre physician is he who in various ways persuades the patient to take the medicine and says to him sweetly, my good man, how will you be cured unless you use the medicine? Take this medicine. I have made it for you myself. But he who, finding the patient stubbornly refusing to take the medicine, forces it down his throat, going so far as to put his knee on the patient's chest, is the best physician. This is the manifestation of the tamas of the physician. It doesn't injure the patient. On the contrary, it does him good. Like the physicians, there are three types of religious teachers. The inferior teacher only gives instruction to the disciples, but makes no inquiries about their progress. The mediocre teacher, for the good of the student, makes repeated efforts to bring the instruction home to him, begs him to assimilate it, and shows him love in many other ways. But there is a type of teacher who goes to the length of using force when he finds the student persistently unyielding. I call him the best teacher. So welcome to the 22nd week of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna class. Today we have begun the chapter 6, a very beautiful chapter, where the author of the Gospel, Sri Mahendranath Gupta, deals with the master's arrival and stay at a function of the Brahma devotees. You know, in Bengal, there was a Brahma Samaj started by Raja Ram Mohan Rao, and later it was taken over by Keshav Chandra Sen. That Brahma Samaj was a very wonderful organization, and it actually took many items from the Christian churches and adapted to Hindu way of worship. For instance, in Brahma Samaj temples, like any other church, you would not have the ground floor sitting. There are all benches are served. Like any church you go, the benches are there and you sit in the bench and look. Like that the benches are given. So they would do that. And also they prefer to worship God without form. So in the altar there is no form. As you find some of the churches in Ireland, I find in some of the Catholic churches, Christ Murti is there, Christ statue is there, or the image is there, but the image is not in the altar. It is the sideways somewhere. So the altar is free of any such images. So when you sit before the altar, you don't see any image, but in the sideways only Christ is standing there. So likewise, the Brahma Samaj did not believe in God with form. And their prayers were conducted mostly in English. They had, of course, Bengali prayers also. And some of the songs, Brahma Sangeet as it was called, some of the songs are really wonderful. In Ramakrishna Mission, I have seen many Bengali Swamis are very fond of the Brahma Samaj songs, and they would sing. And I would enjoy those songs because some of the songs were written by Rabindranath Tagore. Tagore was Brahma Samaj devotee. He was a Brahma devotee. So Brahma Samaj, it is called. So Brahma Samaj devotee, when you say devotee of Brahma, you say a devotee of Brahma Samaj is called a Brahmo. So actually the name is Brahma Samaj. But then if you are a devotee of Brahma Samaj, you call yourself a Brahmo. So like, one who follows Christianity is called Christian. Likewise, this name has come. So it's a Brahmo. So the Brahma devotees we call them. So the Brahma devotees have come together for the Brahma festival, celebrated each autumn and spring. Twice they do that. And this time the celebration is being held in Beni Madhav Pal's beautiful residence. Beni Madhav Pal was a rich man of Calcutta at that time. And he had a very garden house, very big house. And nearly 500 people can get into that house and stay there. And such a wonderful place. And all the trees, because it was October, that is spring season is coming in Bengal. Spring season comes in September, October, before Durga Puja.
That is autumn.
Autumn, not spring, autumn. So autumn comes. So autumn is a very beautiful time when new leaves are coming, new flowers are coming. So particularly yellow flowers, you can find a lot of yellow flowers. And there, tree laden with flowers, artificial lakes with grassy banks and green arbors enhance the beauty of the grounds. See how Sri Mahendranath Gupta remembers these details. He actually wrote after many days passed. Then only by his imagination, because he has gone there and he has seen the description and how beautifully he writes there. And the last sentence he writes, just as the fleecy clouds were turning gold in the light of the setting sun, the master arrived. So he can remember clearly when the master arrived in the carriage, how that the sky was showing the wonderful, that golden hue. So all the devotees have come there, and master has come. So master has got up, and there one of the devotee and one of the guru of the Brahma Samaj, his name was Shivanath Sharma. So Shivanath was there. The moment master saw Shivanath, he became ecstatic in joy. He said, Shivanath, you are here. And then before everyone, as if Shivanath is a very special person for him. When a group of people are there, you only look at one person and tell the name, and others will get jealous also. So likewise also it has happened. So he is simply, but Ramakrishna doesn't care for anything. Whatever you feel, he is joy, so he wants to express. So he saw Shivanath and he was very happy. Here is Shivanath. You see, you are a devotee of God. The very sight of you gives me happiness. And any item you find in gospel, whenever he says a philosophy or a principle, he will add one example. That is the beauty of Ramakrishna's teaching. For anything, even here, he is happy to see Shivanath, he is adding one example. What is the example he gives? A very peculiar example. A hemp smoker feels happy to see another hemp smoker. That we all have seen, If you are a druggist, then another drugger has come, so you will be very happy to sit with him. If you are a drunkard also, when you have one peg and then another person has come who is also relishes that, so you are very happy to see him. I have seen in my young days people smoking cigarettes, and he sees another cigarette smoking person coming on, they become immediately friends. So they are very happy. So master uses this beautiful example. A hemp smoker becomes happy to see another hemp smoker. And he says, very often they embrace each other, kolakuli, as we say in Bengali. They embrace each other in the exuberance of joy. So the devotees burst out laughing. See, the moment master has come, how many places he makes the devotees laugh. You see, a man or God man, as we say now, at that time many people considered him as a saint, that's all. He was a Dakshineswar saint. That much only they could understand. So, that being a saintly man, he should be reserved. He should be very serious. But not so. Wherever he goes, when the public are there, he cuts jokes and makes fun, and then people also laugh with him. So, he says, when the people started laughing, master started speaking. What did he say? He says, in Dakshineswar temple garden, many people used to come. And they used to sit there. And they cannot stand the talk on God for a long time. See, the problem is, sometimes the saints are also speaking for long hours. You see. You may not have time to sit and hear so much of long time. So, these people have come. They are not interested in godly talk. So, Sri Ramakrishna says, seeing their nature, immediately say, why don't you go and see the building tilding? So that's what in Bengali he says, no? Building tilding. He says, go and see those buildings. So that's it. They are also very relieved, So they get up from their place and then go out and they are feeling relief. And some people would go to the boat and then smoke there quietly. So the people laugh at this. So they cannot, they are indifferent to God. So that's why I say that. Sometimes I find the devotees of God are accompanied by worthless people. See, you may be a devotee and you have brought an accompanying person. That accompanying person may not be a devotee, you see. He may be a friend. Simply, I am going to Dakshineswar, I am going to meet Ramakrishna. They said, okay, I am also coming with him. He said, Dakshineswar is there. It's a very beautiful garden house of Rani Rashmani. So people know that. So let me also go and see that place. So let me so. So suppose I go to Glendalough. When I go to Glendalough, I take it as a pilgrimage. Because a saint was there. Saint Kevin was there. And he died there. And when he was there, he used to converse with God. You see, the place of pilgrimage. So when I go there, but I may take a few people with me. Say 2 cars of devotees I have taken, some people. Some are not interested in those things. They will say, no, we will not go there and meditate. We shall go around and then see the place. Like that they will say. So there may be devotees who are accompanying, who are not interested in those things. They accompany people. So, say, since the devotees keep on for a long time talking with me about God, the others become restless. Natural. The others become restless. So when they become restless, what they do? They whisper to their devotees friends, when shall we be going? When shall we get up? Like that, they see how beautifully he narrates. They are saying, how long will you stay here? And they are whispering to this, so that Ramakrishna doesn't hear that. But Ramakrishna's eyes are everywhere. He can watch everybody and everything he knows. He knows it. Wait a bit, we shall go after a little while. And then worldly people lose their interest and say, well then, you go on talking with this holy man, we shall go and stay in the boat. So all laugh. So this type of laughter he gives. But along with the laughter, the teachings that he gives is what more important to us. We also enjoy the jokes, etc., fun of Ramakrishna. But after that comes the nuggets of truth, I should say. He classifies human beings on the basis of 3 gunas. There are 3 gunas spoken in Bhagavad Gita. If you read Gita, you can understand that Sattva guna, Rajasic guna and Tamasic guna. So Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. These are the 3 gunas we all have. Actually, every being has got. Even an ant that going there, it has got. An elephant has got. A monkey has got. And humans are not left out. We are also having these 3 gunas. So according to the 3 gunas, we act. It's very interesting. In the same person, at some time or other, one guna will be predominant. At that time, according to the guna's nature, he will act. So a person can be very childlike at one stage, and then he can be very serious sometimes. And he can be completely unmindful of the entire outside things. He will be completely immersed within himself. So these are the 3 gunas that make them. So he is giving some examples, a beautiful example. Before that he says how Chaitanya and Nitai, they were the 2 great saints who came 500 years before now. And those Chaitanya Dev was a great man. He used to tell people nothing, no austerity is required. He did not believe in any kind of austerity. He did not believe in any kind of you are going to Himalayas, sitting in a cave and meditating. Chaitanya's message was very simple. He would say, take the name of God. Hari's name, say, Hari Bol, say. You know this Maha Mantra as we call it, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. This is called Maha Mantra. This Maha Mantra was popularized by Chaitanya Dev. Though the mantra was there earlier also, but then his mantra was to nook and corner. He took this mantra, and Chaitanya Dev and Nitai were very particular that this mantra should reach the lowest ladder of the society. So they would go to fisherman's place, and then they will teach this mantra and make all of them sing and then dance. You see, dancing is very natural to many people. You find that when you start dancing, it gives you great joy. And Sri Ramakrishna himself used to dance, and Chaitanya used to dance. So Chaitanya and Nitai, wherever they go, they would take this mantra and then make everyone chant. It was in custody of a few high caste people. They would say this is a Sanskrit mantra, no other person should say this. If you pronounce this mantra, the mantra itself becomes defiled. Actually, the mantra has come to rescue you from defilement. But they say, if you pronounce, and you are not a high caste, then you are not allowed to pronounce. That type of system was there. But Chaitanya Dev came for the first time, and he broke that rule. Of course, before him, the Ramanuja also has broken that rule. And he said, Chaitanya said, what? It's God's name. God's name should be given to everyone. Why not? The lower caste people cannot hear that. Let me go. So you'll go to fisherman's place. You would go to the dhobi's place, the washerman place. And you tell all of them, tell this name and dance with me. So 10-15 minutes everybody danced by telling them this mantra, and then he goes to another place. So like that, he preached every nook and corner of India. Chaitanya Dev did that. So they used to say to persons, so now you understand, in Ramakrishna also noticed, some people come to the temple who are not interested in godly talks. And they go away. Chaitanya Dev, he is telling, Chaitanya Dev and Nitai devised a way to attract those fellows. You are not interested in God, so how to attract you? So Chaitanya Dev used to say, you used to get a very good soup, he says. You will get a fish soup, you will get. Bengal is very famous for fish eating, and people are very fond of fish. So anything you give but without the small fish, then the food is not fully completed. So you must have little fish, then food is completed. So like South Indians, they say, without curd rice, there is not completed, like that. So this fish soup I will give you. And people heard, what fish soup? And the embrace of a young woman. These two things attracted many people. And they came to the satsang. And there Nitai and Chaitanya Dev were dancing and singing the name of Hari. And with the dancing, they also started dancing. And you will start immediately dancing. After dancing, you get into a mood. And Chaitanya Dev used to fall down on the floor and he will roll over on the ground. And you are touching the ground, you are rolling over the ground, and that is the embrace of a young woman. And what is the fish soup? Fish soup is by taking the name of Lord, by the energy that comes within you and the emotion that comes with you, you start shedding tears. And the tears is the fish soup. They understand after some time. Oh, this is what he said. Oh, he attracted us by something else. We came for something else, but then they have changed, you see, after that. So, Sri Ramakrishna quotes this, Nitai would employ any means to make people repeat Hari's name. It's a very beautiful idea, When a godly man is there, you go to a godly man, he will speak something about God. Something you should talk to him. And otherwise he would not leave you. He will say something. So by any means, whatever reason, even when we also sit for the food, etc., we take up some serious subjects. Every day, morning breakfast, of course, we all don't come. Every day, morning breakfast, it's a very big thing for us. Me and Swami Purnanji, only two people. So we take our breads, etc., and sit there, and we start talking. On such subjects of, even from Upanishads, we discuss. So we talk. So that is the way that we have to keep our, that godly thoughts to be settled. So Nitai was like that. And he says, Chaitanya said, the name of God has very great sanctity. It may not produce an immediate result, but one day it must bear fruit. What is the example? It doesn't give fruit immediately, but then when it will give? So it is like a seed that has been left on the cornice of a building. After many days, the house crumbles and the seeds falls on the earth, germinates, and at last bears. Like that, a lot of seeds are there which do not bear unless conducive settings are not there. So they are remaining there. So now Sri Ramakrishna says, what about these worldly people who are not interested in God? They can be classified into three types. So sattva type, rajas type, and tamas types. So he speaks about how a person, worldly person, endowed with sattva. Worldly person, not a devotee, mind you. A worldly person who is fully attracted to the world, as we say, sansarik, as is a worldly person, that when he has sattva guna predominant at a particular time, how he will behave. So there are some signs are there. By seeing that, you can know he is a sattvic person. I have seen some people like that. And here Sri Ramakrishna exactly quotes that. How is it wonderful? He says, his house is in a dilapidated condition, here and there broken, there broken, and he doesn't care to repair it. And then he doesn't, the worship hall may be strewn with pigeon droppings. So here how we keep spick and span, we clean everything. But it's not like that. Even pigeons come and they sit there and then they go, they don't care at all to clean. And then he doesn't pay any attention. The furniture in the house, if you see, they are all his grandfather's time. All old furniture he has got. And then no polishing at all any time. And then it does not look neat. And he wears anything. The dress is not important for him. But the man himself is very gentle, quiet, kind and humble. He doesn't injure anyone, that's all. But he is not lover of God. Though sattva guna makes you go up a very high stage in the worldly life, that you are not interested in anything external. You are only inside and you are doing good to others. That is sattva guna, brings it. How the rajas, when the rajas is predominating, how the worldly man stays? The man has a watch and chain. You see how beautifully Sri Ramakrishna has noticed, very minutely has noticed. Whether we will notice or not, we don't know. When you go to any party or anywhere, you see very rich people also come. Do you notice how the rich people dress up? How they do, what they have put there, even golden cufflinks they may have in their coats. Do you notice that? You don't notice. But Sri Ramakrishna, being a saint, you see, and who goes into samadhi again and again, he has noticed everything. And he says, he has got a gold chain and also he has got a watch and 2 or 3 rings on his fingers. Not one finger, ring finger. In some other finger also he has got a golden ring. The furniture is all spick and span. On the walls hang portraits. What type of portraits he mentions? Portrait of the queen. You know, at that time queen was ruling India. So portrait of queen and her son, Prince of Wales, and other prominent people. The building is whitewashed, spotlessly clean. So, and even the servants have their livery. It's not an ordinary servant like that with just a gamcha he is coming. No, he's got his own uniform. With that uniform he comes. That's the Rajasic people. And how is the Tamasic people? Tamasic people, both the types are not there. Tamasic people are lazy, sleepy, lustful, angry, full of egotism and the like. So when a man speaks amongst ourselves with full of egoism, I have done this job, I can only do it. Like that if he speaks, you must understand, at that moment, in that personality, tamasic guna has been predominant. When he says, no, so it's all God's grace that I could be rendered some service to you. Like that if he says like this, in a humble way, please must understand the sattva guna is there. So in each person, we all have these 3 gunas, and according to 3 gunas we behave in the different situations. So anytime you can understand sattva rajas guna is predominant. Neither is bad. It's not that Sri Ramakrishna is condemning that, but these are the nature of the human beings, and we are all filled with those 3 gunas. So we are like that. And then now he takes the takes the talks to turn towards godly things. Now, what about the devotees? Okay, he explained the worldly people. They are like this. The devotees also are human beings. So they are very devoted to God, but then they also have sattva, rajas, tamas. Devotees don't have sattva, rajas, tamas. Even saints have tamas. Otherwise, how do they sleep? Sleeping comes because of tamas. So when the tamas overpowers me, I sit there, and even traveling in a car, and if the car temperature is very nice, and you have just taken food, and you are sitting, you get sleep. So at that time, what is tamas? Tamas comes up. And you are very vociferously talking, arguing, etc. And with your point and sticking to your point, and you are challenging the other person. Rajas is up. So the same gunas, the three gunas are within us, and we are also used them. So how the worldly people can be classified as per the gunas? Here, we must note it. Sattva is the highest, Rajas is the middle, Tamas is the lowest. That is how it is classified. But Sri Ramakrishna's contribution to Vedanta, I would point out this point particularly, he reverses this. Among the devotees, tamasic nature is the highest.
Devotion.
Yes, tamasic devotion is the highest, he says. How it is? The tamasic devoted man says, "Oh God, today I must get it done. You must fulfill my desire. You must do it." No question of nambi-pambi way of asking. No, you must do it for me. That's the command over God. That's Sri Ramakrishna did. He used to tell Kali like that, and Kali would get it done. Because it is that type of nature comes in the highest type of devotees. They don't wait for anybody. They say, "I want this," that means you must give me this. Why you will not give me? I have taken the name of Durga. How can I be a sinner? That song is a beautiful song by Madan, one great poet, Madan, he has written a Bengali song. You know, why should you go to Ganga, then Gaya, Kashi, etc.? So you don't need to go at all. Where you are remaining there, that itself a place of holy place for you. You don't need to go there. But then, if you can breathe, you are lost with Kali's name upon my lips. Then I don't need to go any pilgrimage. Pilgrimage going also is considered as a rajasic activity, not a sattvic activity. If you go on pilgrimage, it's a rajasic activity because it involves a lot of actions. But, and the poet says, the devotee says, "I am taking the Mother Kali's name and I am going to leave my body now. Why I should go for pilgrimage? I don't need to go on pilgrimage to concentrate." What is the purpose of pilgrimage? To put your mind more on God. So for the concentration purpose only we are going. So that already concentration is attained, so I don't need to go. And say, what need of rituals for me? If I can repeat the mother's name at the 3 holy hours, dawn, noon and dusk. These are the 3 times. It's called Sandhya Vandanam. Those who have got this Yajnapavitam, no, Janu, you do 3 times Gayatri Mantra they have to chant. And they do 3 times. That is dawn and then noon and dusk. So 3 times they do that. So he says that why should I do this? I don't need to do this 3 times because the God's name is on my lips always. So the devotee says that the tamasic, see how the nature is changed. A tamasic nature with a devotee, he says, bind, beat, kill. That is his way. The way of the dacoits, like the dacoits do, they do. But then, what about the Rajasic man? Rajasic devotee, how does he perform? So people laugh at Ramakrishna's teaching. He says, an aspirant possessed of Rajasic bhakti puts a tilak. So nice tilak, red tilak, so that from distance you can see. And then on his forehead, and a necklace of holy Rudraksha beads. And the Rudraksha beads is very visible outside. It is like that. But then to attract the attention of the eyes of another person to the Rudraksha beads, I am wearing Rudraksha beads. What he does, intermittently, he has put golden beads also. Or silver beads. So that people can immediately look, oh, he has put a silver bead. You know, people put gold tooth, etc.
Yeah.
Like that, you know. So silver beads he has put. So he says That's it. Rudraksha beads interspersed with gold or silver ones around his neck, all love. And at worship, he wears a silk cloth. In some of the houses I have seen, when they go for worship and cleaning, etc., they put a separate cloth for them, for shrine cloth they saw, and it will be silk cloth. So they put on and then they do that. This is representing the Rajasic nature. But what about the Sattvic nature, which you all praise, which you think that the highest? The Sattvic nature of devotee is the lowest. What he does, the Sattvic nature of devotee, he meditates on God in absolute secret. No question of giving outside anywhere. Anybody knows he has been meditating. But the daytime he is sleeping. People think, oh, he did not get sleep at all in the night, that's why he is sleeping. Actually, he was doing meditation in the mid of midnight. Quietly you get up in the night, and then that's why when these boys used to go to Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna would make them sleep in his room. So they are sleeping. At midnight he would come and wake them up. Naren, Rakhal, Hari, they were all just get up. So what to do? Because they were all young boys, only 18, 19, 16-year-olds. So get up, come with me. And where to go? And in those days, Dakshineswar was full of trees, etc. And slowly you would take them to that place and make them sit there. Sit now, do meditation. And you would teach them meditation. So that's how night, the midnight, nobody knows. His love for the body goes only as far as appeasing his hunger, and that only by means of rice and simple grains. No elaborate arrangement. So such is that examples he gives for Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And then he is so happy, so he started singing. Whenever Ramakrishna becomes happy, he starts singing a song. And he knows hundreds and hundreds of songs, all those original songs. There is a cassette also, it has come. It's called The Songs Sung by Sri Ramakrishna, written in the Gospel. So any song that you do not know, if you can put that one, you can see that how beautiful songs are there. So modern songs is very great. It's a blissful mother's lotus feet. That is what my mind is on that. So he says that the master was beside himself with love for the Divine Mother. This in English is a very beautiful expression. Beside oneself. What is the beside oneself? Have you ever heard this? I am beside myself. He is beside himself. He is there. Beside himself, what can be? So the joy was so overwhelming, overflowing. So he was not he, or he was not him at that time. He was outside of the Ramakrishna personality. He was fully overwhelmed with the bliss. So he says, the writer says, he was beside himself with love for the Divine Mother. And then he says, if, O Blessed One, I am taking the name of Durga, what sin can touch me? How can I be sinner anymore? I am her child. And all her powers and glories come to the child. Mother's powers and glories belong to the child, finally. So, if such glory is belonging to me, why should I be called a sinner? I am no more sinner. Yesterday in the mother's class, I was telling one incident in Ramakrishna's life. Ramakrishna was sitting in his room and talking to the devotees. A lot of devotees were there. And then all the devotees have got up, gone away. But from that cot he is sitting there, he could see outside the gate, outside that door, one man was standing for a long time. So he walks up to him and he said, hey, you are standing here for a long time? Why you didn't come inside? Then that man says, oh Lord, I cannot come nearer to you. He said, why? Because I have done all types of sins. You name the sin, I have done it. And you are the most holiest person. Contrast, you see, he can see the contrast. And he says, that's why I did not come near you. Sri Ramakrishna embraces it and tells, okay, you have done lot of sins, you say, okay, now you repeat with me. My mother is Durga. I am Durga's son. Tell me. So he repeats that. If you are Durga's son, the glory of Durga is upon you. No more sin can touch you. From this moment, you will not do any sin. You will not think also any sin. And that man got transformed. See? So why should we think God's glories, the question comes, we do Lalita Sahasranam, Sri Vishnu Sahasranam. There's 1,000 glories we repeat. What for we are repeating? In order to get the impression in our mind, the glories of God are finally belong to me. I am also glorious because I am the Son of God. When you are the Son of God, naturally you are equivalent to the Father. So Father and Son are one. So that's why he says that when that glory is there with you, I am her child, heir to her powers and glories. Who is going to take her glories? I am this child of her. So all the glories will come to me. If you can give a spiritual turn to your tamas, you can realize God. You see, this sattva and rajas will take you long years to realize God. But the tamas nature, that I want God to see immediately. What did Ramakrishna do? You know the story. When he did not get the darshan of Mother Kali, he saw the kadag. Kadag means the sword. It was hanging there. He took it and he wanted to cut, sever his head. And he brought it up to this. But luckily it was not cut, because before that Mother Kali appeared in a flood of light and she showed him that I am Chaitanya, I am consciousness. So he realized on that day. So that's that I am going to punish you, O Lord, you must give me this. If you say, then Lord also obeys you. So that is that tamas quality is called. Then he gives that superior, mediocre and inferior types of doctors. Of course, there are many doctors are there. This is very simple example he gives, but how the inferior doctor says, take the medicine, this is a prescription, get out. So you are out. You pay the fees and you are out. And later he doesn't even inquire about you. And the mediocre doctor will say, this is the dosage, this is you should take, this is what you should observe, etc., etc. All instructions he gives. But the superior doctor comes. Did you take the medicine? No. Come, this is the medicine, take it. I said, no, I can't take. Then he puts him down on the floor and puts his, knee on his chest and then puts it on his mouth. Some mothers are like that, So their mothers are superior mothers. Those mothers who say simply, you drink this medicine, I have kept it on the kitchen, go and take your medicine. Those mothers are not superior mothers. They are inferior mothers, So the master gives here, take the medicine, I have made it for you myself. Like that he says. So like this, the physicians, and he brings this sattva, rajas, tamas, can be used in many of our activities. So like the physicians, there are three types of religious teachers. Immediately turns this, talks, you see, from that example. Religious teacher also you find. Like me, so I am giving a lecture. That's all, over. You see, hear the lecture and go away. With you, there is no other connection. Finished. This is the inferior kind of teacher. A mediocre teacher will explain to you. And you say, okay, come. Tomorrow you come separately. I will explain to you this idea. Like that he will say. And the superior teacher, what he does, he will not rest until you understand the truth. So in the Upanishads we see how the gurus used to act towards their disciples. They said, no. The Shishya says, okay, I have understood, sir. No, you are not understood. The moment you say understood, you are not understood. So here again, then he will start again telling him. So unless you stop telling I have understood, that means really you have understood, then only you will stop. So the superior gurus are like that. So with this we continue. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Hari Om Tassat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tassat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.